Good day, everyone, wherever you are in the world. May God bless you with everything that you need to be happy. Welcome to KP Storytime this Wednesday again, 6 p.m. local time. As always, prayers to my mother, my father, my guru, and the guests here. मातृदेवोभ्यो नमः पितृदेवेभ्यो नमः आचार्यदेवेभ्यो नमः अतिथिदेवेभ्यो नमः. Salutations to all. In KP's story time, we have been discussing the biography of Rama, who is supposed to be the ideal human being, be it son, be it husband, brother, leader, king, whatever relationship a human being would have. In all those relationships, he has aced. He has made himself an idol for people. That's why this biography, we have to read it in such a way that Rama was a human being and he lived the way he was supposed to, or we all are supposed to. That's why we should be able to live like him. And in his biography, there are so many incidents that were narrated which we would face every day. So that would be our reference point. If we get to that scenario or a situation, then we can always refer back to Ramayana and say, Rama behaved this way, so I should also be behaving this way. This is the right way to behave. Of course, there are certain limitations, but as far as possible, we can do that. So, when we are discussing this, the, the style I was following was to give you the preview of the story coming for the next 2 3 weeks, and then go back, take the incidents for those from that storyline, and in that incident, all the characters, how they were working, how they were behaving, how they were talking to one another, analyzing it in such a way that everyone can understand, internalize it, and get benefited out of it. So, last we heard, what we talked about was Rama entered Dandakaranya, that means very thick forest, and there he made his own small living with Lakshmana. And then Surpanaka, one of the demon girls, came there. She wanted to, she liked Rama. She wanted him to marry, and Rama showed Lakshmana that he is also like me. He does not have his wife. Go ahead and talk to him. And Lakshmana did not heed to her request. He told her that this is not the right way to do, but she did not accept it, and she thought they are not accepting her because of the presence of Sita. So she wanted to kill Sita or harm Sita. That's when Lakshmana gets hold of her, cuts off her nose, ears, and we also discussed why that kind of a punishment was given, because she was saying that she was very beautiful, and then so Rama and Lakshmana, one of them should marry her. Even when you cut off those ears and limb, the functionality of a human being is not affected. So the punishment should be in such a way that people can see that you have been punished, but at the same time your functionality should not be changed. That one incident also tells us, if at all we are in a position to punish someone, how do we punish them? Basically, the punishment is to bring change in the person, not to punish is not just to make that other person be unhappy. It is actually to bring a change. So when Shurpanaka was approaching Sita to harm her, Lakshmana removed her, I mean, cut her nose and ears, which means she could still hear anyone, she could still smell, she could still breathe. But if anyone saw her, they would right away ask her what happened to you. She has to explain the mistake she has done. So that way, she would be reminded of her mistake and she would not repeat it. At the same time, whoever hears that from her would also be worried about such disciplinary action, so they would not do. So punishment should be like that. It should prevent someone from doing it, prevent someone from repeating it, and should not impact the functionality of the person. At the same time, it should be visible for anyone else to notice it. Then we also discussed that Shurpanaka went to her brothers who were in the same Dandakaranya. They came with 14,000 followers. They fought with Rama. Rama killed them. Then Surpanaka went to Ravana, and then there she changed the story altogether. She said, Ravana, I went there. Sita is such a beautiful lady, and you should be the only person who should have her. Someone called Rama married her, so I want to bring her for you, but they did not allow me and they punished me like this. So this punishment was for you. Even though they knew that I am your sister, they still punished me. That means they did not care for you. That's how she pulled Ravana into this. Ravana at that time, Ravana was very, very powerful. He won all the wars, everyone, not only on the earth, in the heaven also, in the skies, anywhere, he was very powerful. If that is the case, he could have just gone and fought with Rama directly. Why he should be doing something else? So as we discussed, he went to Maricha and asked Maricha to be like a golden deer, lure Rama, take him away, Lakshmana also. Then Sita would be alone, Ravana would abduct her. From that incident itself, we can understand that Ravana knows the power of Rama. Else, he could have just gone, fought straight with Rama. He didn't do that. He wanted to deceive Rama and abduct Sita. Maricha also tells him not to do that because he knows the power of Rama. If you remember, he was hit by Manavastra by Rama when he went with Vishwamitra. He advised Ravana not to do that, and he said, be safe and be happy with whatever you have right now. Don't go against Rama. But Ravana did not heed to that. He started telling Maricha that if you are worried that Rama will kill you, I will kill you straight now. Then Maricha decided that instead of getting killed by Ravana, it is better to be killed by Rama because Rama is the right person, he's a good person. So by dying in his hands, he would abode heaven. We have come up to, of course, I think we have gone even further. Maricha goes there. Sita wants that deer. She wanted to pet that deer. So Rama goes chasing that deer, and finally he understands that that was demons' powers. So he killed the deer That's when Maricha gets his original body, and to deceive again. Ravana wanted him to deceive Rama and Lakshmana and take them away from Sita. So the only way he could do was, Ravana is anyway, Rama was with him anyway. All he said was, Lakshmana, I am in trouble. Sita, I am in trouble. He shouted like that in the voice of Rama. Rama, then Lakshmana and Sita, they heard it. Lakshmana did not believe it because he knows the power of strength of Rama. So he told Sita that this is just the demon's tactics. That deer must be a demon, and he or she must be acting like this. So don't worry about it. Rama will be coming back. But Sita was afraid and said, Lakshmana, go and help Rama. Lakshmana did not want to go. He said, I know this is not true, so I need to be here. Rama asked me to take care of you. I cannot leave you. But Sita had used a very bad word. She said, I think you are thinking that if Rama is killed, you can take care, you can marry me, you can enjoy me. But I am going to die. I will commit suicide, but I will not be available for you. That's when Lakshmana says, this is not acceptable. And so he creates a small, I mean, a line, and says a border around the house, and says, please do not cross this place, cross this one. This will safeguard you from any other demons. If we have to analyze all these things, we know that Rama was Vishnu, Sita was his wife Lakshmi, and they had a motive to come to the earth, to take this human form. That was to kill Ravana. Kaikeyi also was instrumental in that. So she sent Rama out. If Rama became king of Kosala Rajya, he would not go out. He would not have a reason to have animosity with Ravana. That's why she forced Rama to leave Ayodhya, the city, and then go to forest. Here is the second opportunity where if Lakshmana was not going away, Ravana would not come. And if Ravana would not come and would not abduct Sita, there will not be a reason for Rama to kill Ravana. That's why, though Sita knows how is Lakshmana, knows the goodness of Lakshmana, and knows that Lakshmana looks at them as parents, mother and father, but still she had to force Lakshmana leave the place. And how can she do that? Lakshmana goes by Rama's word only, and Rama said, stay here until I come back, and he was not ready to leave. But to make that global thing happen, the big picture, that is, Ravana has to be killed, Lakshmana has to leave the place. And so Sita had to use that bad intentions. Imagine how much Sita would have felt about it. Then Lakshmana finally left Sita and went in search of Rama. This is where we stopped. And then last week I went back in this story to talk about what Bharata and Rama had as conversation. And Rama was telling Bharata how to be a good king. And we also discussed that those are all good things for us to be leading as a good human being. life. So that's where we said we have to choose our friends, we have to choose the right advisors. And even though you choose right people for everything, you have to have your own uh, spying on them. Except I mean there are 18 jobs that anyone can do, of which three jobs should not be spied upon. The one who was declared as your successor, two, your advisor, main advisor, and three, the one who is protecting your entire life. And rest of them you have to spy. That means you have to be careful, you have to be collecting the information about how much can I rely on this person. So we talked all of that. Just recap of that. Now Ravana was hiding there, waiting for Lakshmana to go, which means he was not only afraid of Rama, he was afraid of Lakshmana also. Can we, for a second, think that Ravana knows the power of Rama and Lakshmana, and he knows that they are born to kill him, and only they can kill him, and he needed an exit strategy? If that is true, for everything, what we can learn from this is for everything we should have exit strategy. As we are having an entry strategy, we should have exit strategy also in our life. Which means don't think only the good things, don't think that everything will go right. Instead, we have a saying, uh, prepare for the worst, wish for the best, prepare for the worst. The prepare for the worst is what I'm talking about. You have to have the exit strategy, at what level we have to exit and how much loss we can take. If you are in the stock market, you need to have that strategy. You may be buying some stock and you have to have, when am I going to sell? Even if the market is going up, it can come down anytime. So what is the profit that I'm expecting and what is the loss I can take? If the market is going down, if the stock is going down beyond this price, say stop loss we call it. So you say 5% stop loss I can take, which means you're okay to lose 5% on your investment. You have to put that stop loss. That is exit strategy for a stop. I mean for a loss. And exit strategy for a profit also, you may have to think about it. If you make so much, then from then onwards you can say stop loss is 5%. So if a stock is at $100 and you have 5% stop loss, then if the stock goes down below 95, then it is automatically triggered and it sells it off. If the stock goes up to $200, your stop loss will be increased to $190. And from 200, if it comes down to 190, it automatically sells. Which means the market is going up, your stop loss percentage, based on the percentage, it goes up. If the market is coming down from that number, whatever was the maximum on that day, if it is coming down by 5%, it will sell it off. Of course, this is not a good strategy when the stock is very volatile, just like Tesla, right? It can vary from 360 to 400. But it's an example to say that you have to have exit strategy everywhere. Maybe Ravana had his exit strategy saying that only Rama can kill me and I have to leave. No one can be living forever. That's why he might be waiting for Lakshmana to go. Otherwise, there was no one who can contest or fight with him. We will talk about one more character who could fight with him, but we'll discuss more on that in the future. So, as soon as Lakshmana left the place, Ravana became like a saint. He disguised, I mean, dis, do we say disguised or despised? But he made himself look like a saint. He came to Sita's place. In any time you get a guest, you have to take care of them. That's what we talked about earlier also. So guest is like God, and we have to take care of that person. So when Sita saw Ravana as a saint, she she was okay. Then Ravana, as soon as he saw Sita, he was mesmerized by her beauty. Any saint, if comes to our home, he would just say, "Hey, be happy. You should everything should you should be prospering. You should be doing this." All that they'll be wishing for you. The moment a saint, the man, a person who you think is very valuable, and he comes into your home, and he starts talking about your beauty, right away you can understand that this guy is really not a saint. Here, Ravana, as soon as he saw Sita, he started saying that, "Wow, you are such a beautiful lady. You are wearing very beautiful dress." And he started narrating every part of her body, and then said, "How come you are alone in this forest?" There is a way to ask that question, right? You can, if you see someone in an odd place, you'll always say, "How come you are here?" If I'm working on the east side, and all of a sudden one day you see me on the west side of the city, you will definitely ask me, "What are you doing this side? You are supposed to be on the east side, right?" Similarly, here also, if Ravana was talking about the beauty of Sita, Sita should have got that alert straight then and there. All these things give us the suspicion that Sita knows, Ravana also knows what the story is behind and what would happen in the future. However, they have to act. In our life also, we might know certain things. Someone might have given us, someone must have shared secrets with us, and then we know it, but we have to act as if we do not know it. So Sita said, "Please be seated. I'll give you whatever I have to eat and be comfortable here. My husband, excuse me, will be coming back with all the fruits and eatables. I'll offer you them." Even though Ravana was narrating her beauty part by part, which sometimes is not acceptable in the social environment, still she said, "Please be seated." Then again, Ravana was asking her why she was alone, and she should be somewhere in beautiful building with all sorts of comforts and lot of servants. Then Sita started telling him all the story, who they are. Wow, I mean, Rama's information, Dasharatha's information, Janaka's information, and how Kaikeyi asked the boons, and how Dasharatha was tied off, and how they left the Ayodhya, and how they ended up in Dandakaranya. In our life also, we cannot be that naive, especially the people who do not know the cunningness of others, they believe everyone. That's very dangerous. You don't want to give every information that you know or of yours to anyone. In this digital world, as such, our identity is being stolen.
Quick question.
Go ahead.
Now, someone asked, so Sita did not know that her guest was Ravana because of his disguise?
That's what we, as if you go through the storyline, we have to believe it that way. But as I said, sometimes you know the secrets, but you have to act as if you do not know because there is a bigger picture.
Mhm.
If Sita knew, if let us say for a common person, if Sita knew that it was Ravana, what she could have done?
She's pretty powerful herself.
Right, she is very powerful. She could have killed him. Her anger could have just burnt him down. But is that what intended? Rama was supposed to kill him. And so he has to be killed by Rama only, no one else.
Why is that? Well, why is, I mean, if the purpose is to kill Ravana, right? Does it? I guess I'm just asking because
Agreed.
doesn't matter who kills him. It's after his death would mean destruction of a demon, the safety of the world, safety of the people. The only thing I could think of is that because this entire purpose of this avataram is to showcase the power of a common man. That's the only thing I could think of is because Rama needs to kill him so that way he could show that human beings are powerful and capable and can do things without having to resort to.
Yeah, now Sita is also a human being, right?
Okay.
So if Sita killed him, still she was proving human being
Okay.
power.
Then why did it have to be Rama?
But excellent question. Excellent question. Sita answers that later in the part.
Okay.
I will give you that information now, but we'll revisit that.
Okay.
In a Hindu family or whichever family, if there is a head of the family,
Yeah. Doesn't need to be
head of the
male or
family,
female.
yeah, doesn't need to be does not have any gender specification. But once we accept someone as head of the family, rest of the people have to take that person's permission for any important thing.
Mhm.
Would you, because now you have accepted me as head of the family,
Mhm.
would you just go out and then spend around $1,000, $2,000 on something?
No, not normally. I'll let you know.
Right? You would like to consult with me.
Mhm.
And if I'm not giving you my okay, you'll still be waiting. You would not take that.
Yeah. It's not that you're saying don't do it. It's not an order. It's more of, hey, I wouldn't recommend you do that because of this, and reason. If you want, you can still purchase that, but this is why I wouldn't recommend it. And but out of respect and knowing that you have that experience and knowledge, I would say, oh, okay, that makes sense. Then I would not do it.
Right. So it is assumed that the head of the family has more experience, more responsibility, and has more knowledge than the rest of the family members. So they always rely on that head of the family for important decisions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like when Tatkar or my grandfather passed away, Nanama became the head of the family. So you
Right.
you talk.
Yeah,
You
I used to
with.
discuss with her everything, and then only when she says, "Yeah, go ahead, do this one,
Yeah.
take this decision," I used to take it. And after that, I have become the head of the family, and then I was making the decisions. As long as I had mother alive, I was asking her, giving her all the information, and asking her for a decision.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So here, Rama is the head of the family. And if Sita had to kill Ravana, She had to make a decision, but Rama was not available to take the advice.
Mhm.
So, in the future chapters, she says, I can kill you, but I do not have permission from my husband, who is head of the family. It is giving a value saying that don't be in a hurry, don't be in a hasty thing, because you may not know, you may not have the entire knowledge. So it is better you leave it to the head of the family. Okay, makes sense now?
Yeah.
So coming back to that question whether Sita knew or did not know that it was Ravana, that's where it is left just like
Ambiguous.
that. Don't ask, don't tell.
Uh,
I'm just kidding, right? So, by all means, they knew. That's what my personal feeling is. They all knew, but they were acting. Then Ravana, and also, see, these are all the things that they wanted to teach rest of the humanity how to behave in each circumstances. Unless these things have happened, fine, Sita killed him. What else are we going to learn? So, coming back to the story, Sita was pretending that she did not know who Ravana was, who this saint was. At the same time, the saint started talking to her in a bad intent, with a bad intention. Even then, she was respecting him. She said, "You are my guest. So be within your limits. I can serve what I can get, whatever I can, and wait for my husband to come back." And she also indirectly told him how great Rama was. She told him about Dasratha, as I told, whatever story has happened so far, she has disclosed it with Ravana to let him know how powerful Rama is. Even then, Ravana got the hint that Sita is not interested in him. So he started luring her. This again, in our day to day life, people with malintentions will lure us with whatever they can talk to us. So let's see what Ravana was talking to Sita. He was again insisting that such a beautiful lady should have more than what she is having right now. Then he disclosed about himself. He said, "Okay, I'm the king of demons. I'm the 10-headed demon. And everyone in this world is afraid of him." And now he started telling her the power that he had. He was boasting himself. He said, "I am the cousin brother of God of wealth." Kubera is called God of wealth. And he said, "I'm a cousin brother of Kubera. Kubera could not stand me, so I went with a war. I mean, I went on with a war, and then I won. I took away everything that he has. So now he's staying somewhere else." So that means he's giving her two pieces of information. He was saying, "I can win over anyone. Secondly, I am richer than Kubera now." And he said, "Your right place is in my house. Your right companion is me. Accept me as your husband, and I will have 5,000 servants around you. I'll get the best in this world." And he also tells her that wherever I am, the air will be flowing in a proper manner. That means he had air conditioning, even outdoor air conditioning, not just indoor air conditioning, outdoor air conditioning also he had. And he said the sun would not be very hot wherever I am. So he said, wherever I am, it'll be a pleasant place, and you deserve that. So forget about Rama. Who is Rama? He's just a human being. In any field, he cannot match with me. Why are these extramarital affairs happening in this world? Because when we are in relationship with someone, definitely we are close to that person. That means we know everything about that person. That's why sometimes there are some issues and some things that we do not like in the other person. Today I was reading some quote. You may think everyone is good except the husband, because husband is the one who is very close to you and you saw him in person, so you will know the blemishes. My face like this may be looking better, but if I come very close to the camera, you may be seeing all the dents in my face or the pimples on my face, whatever it is, the the black spots on my face. So similarly, when you are in a relationship with someone, as closer you get, the more you will be knowing about that person. As you know more about that person, it is difficult to accept that person. That's why I love a very good quote. It says, a friend is the one who knows all about you and still loves you. When a friend knows all about you, that means he or she knows the dark side of your life, bright side of your life, and still loves you. If you can have one such friend, or if you can become one such friend for someone else, excellent life. So, where did I lose my story? Anyway, so Ravana was boasting again to her that you deserve better. Yeah, we are coming back to the relationships where the extramarital affairs and all of that. There are two people, wife and husband, a third person comes in between, and he starts giving a different angle of life to one of them. And so they get attracted to that side. And at that time, they start talking bad about the relationship that you are in. That's when the attraction goes even beyond. As long as these two persons are together and a third person comes in, that's where you have to have your firewall around you. You have to say, my spouse, I know everything about her or him, and I still love. That means a spouse should be the best friend to start with. If not, make that friendship. Never ever have any secrets from your spouse, because you want that person to be your best friend. And when you are the best friend, anyone who is coming and talking bad about your best friend, you will immediately take the guard. Here, Ravana was using the same technique. He was saying, you are very beautiful, you deserve a lot. Rama is not giving you what you deserve. I have everything that you deserve, and I can give you all of that. How many things he's playing, how many tricks he's playing. Don't we have that? Even an employer, if there is another employer who knows, or another recruiter who knows that you are good, immediately that recruiter will start talking about what is good on the in the other company, and starts telling you that you better move from this company to the other company. So this incident is good to learn for any type of relationships, not just between wife and husband or the spouses. It is anywhere. Once you have a relationship, you have that commitment. And anyone starts talking about it, that means you are doubting your own decision. If someone comes and says that you deserve more and currently you're not getting it, I can get you that. You decided to be with this company or you decided to be in this relationship. And if someone is telling you that this is not right for you, what does that mean? Does that person know more about you? Or does that person is that person saying that you are not capable of making a decision or you are making all the wrong decisions? Rely on your own decision. So, when Ravana said, I have all these things, and he said, I have an aeroplane that can go with whatever way I am thinking. If I want, even just, I don't even need to tell that. I just want to say, oh, go towards east at 25,000 kilometers above Earth. It does not even need to utter the word. That means that such a advanced software was there. Today we have our autopilots. So they are giving the GPS, they are giving the end point, and the GPS is driving, flying them. Which means he had an aeroplane that is more advanced than what we are seeing. And one more feature he talks about, he says it can expand to any size. There will be always room for one person. If you literally look at it, that means the time when this book was written, thousands of years back, the technology was very advanced, or the writer's imagination was so powerful, so futuristic. We can also think that the aeroplane that he is talking about is like our heart. In our heart, there is always place for one more person. That means if you are compassionate and if you see someone who is not your person, you will have enough energy to give that person the love. Is it not? When I moved to US, I was trying to make friendship with some groups, but they were just very cold. And then one of my friends said, Murthy, they're all saturated by their relationships. They've been here for so long and they don't want any new person to come in. They're saturated. So we have to make our own team. We have to make our own group. We cannot get into an established group. However, if you can keep your heart like the aeroplane that Ravana was talking about, you should have place for at least one more person. Whoever is in need of your help, you should be able to accommodate that person. That's what we have to learn from that. We have that aeroplane, and that aeroplane is called Pushpaka Vimanamu. Vimanamu means aeroplane. Pushpaka is its name. We all have Pushpaka Vimanam in ourselves, that is our heart, where we can expand our relationship at least by one more. That's one thing. And is that not our thought process? We can go anywhere just by thinking here, just by sitting here. I can feel that I'm in Himalaya. I'm already there. I don't even need to tell anyone. I may be thinking that, oh, I'm going over the China wall. I can go. Maybe that is the aeroplane that Ravana was talking about. So he was trying to lure Sita so much. At that time, Sita said, I don't like all of these things. You may be great, but Rama is even greater. Then Ravana said, oh, if you are alone, I can just abduct you. Then Sita said, please don't do it. It is not good for you. Remember, Maricha also told him. And Sita is also telling him now that you don't want to do that. Rama can kill anyone. And please do not kill yourself and your entire enemy, I mean, your entire military. Don't do that. Just because you are making this mistake, everything that you have will be lost. He did not heed to that. Again, sometimes when people give you good advice, you don't take it. That's because we think we know, at the same time we do not know the consequences. Even though someone is telling us the consequences that we have to face, we downplay them. So Ravana started holding Sita. So he held her hair first, and then he held her by her legs. He took her, he carried her. His aeroplane, which was invisible, it is capable of being invisible. Nowadays, also, we have some aeroplanes that cannot be seen by the radars. Only when we can compare with the technology that Ramayana is talking about with current technology, then we start believing it. But at the same time, the technology in Ramayana may be even far more advanced. That's when people question that I don't believe this one. Agreed. You do not believe what you do not know. And then you cannot learn anything. Instead, give benefit of doubt. Maybe it is there. Maybe someone can do it. Why should you see it always? Why should you experience always? And all of a sudden, his aeroplane appeared. He sat on it and it started flying. Then Sita was shouting at the top of her voice that, oh, Ravana is abducting me. Rama, if you can hear, come and save me. Lakshmana, if you hear, come and save me. And then she started talking to the trees. She started talking to the mountains that they were passing. And then in one place she saw Jatayu. Jatayu is a huge bird. She recognized him because Jatayu was the friend of Dasaratha. She looked at him. He said, Jatayu, please wait for Rama. Rama would come in search of me. Please tell him that Ravana abducted me. You cannot fight this guy. This guy is very powerful, so don't come and fight with him. But stay safe, wait for Rama to come. But Jatayu could not stay. As you know, your loved ones are in trouble, you would run there. You would not just sit there logical thinking. Jatayu went up into the air and he told Ravana that Rama is God and he came to earth. Sita is his beloved ones. Do not harm her, just leave her, otherwise Rama will kill you. You are a king, you should do what your people have to follow. So you should be walking the walk. If you behave like that, there will not be any principles in your followers. If you are abducting someone's wife, will there be any value in the marriage system at all in your place? And by then Jatayu was 60,000 year old. Excuse me, I don't know why, but it's not that I'm feeling sleepy. I'm as energetic as ever, but I'm getting this yawning, but there is no reason. So Jatayu was 60,000 year old. So he told Ravana that you are very young, you are powerful. I don't have any weapons with me. So I am telling you what is good for you and what you should not do, why you should not do. If you do not listen, fine, I will have to do my part to save Sita. I will have to fight. You cannot pass me without fighting with me. That means Jatayu knows his weaknesses and strengths. He knows weaknesses and strengths of Ravana. He did tell Ravana that I may not be able to win you, but still, because it is the righteous thing, I will fight with you. What do we have to learn from that? Even though we are our strengths are not enough to fight something that is not right, we should not be following the wrong thing. That's first thing. We have to stop following the wrong thing, even though we do not have the strength to follow the right thing. And we have to do our effort. We have to put all our effort to go on the right course. That's what Jatayu is doing. Jatayu knew he could not fight Ravana, and he knew that Ravana is on the wrong path. And so, to protect the right path, Jatayu started fighting with Ravana. Even though he was 60,000 year old, he was fighting with all his might. He did uh, defend for some time. He hurt Ravana with his beacon and with his claws. Ravana took a sword and cut his wings. For any bird, wings is the strength. Wings are the strength. So first he had cut his wings so that he could not fly anymore, and he fell down on the earth. He did not kill Jatayu. Why? Give me 1 second. Prakash, it is running low on the power.
Oh, is it? Oh, I thought it should be. Okay, I'll come back.
He did not kill Jatayu. He could have killed, right? He cut his wings. He could have just cut his throat too. But he did not. Why? If Ravana did not want Rama to know that he abducted Sita, he should have killed him, because that's one eyewitness, who could tell Rama or point him to fight with Ravana. These are all the reasons why I believe that Ravana knew that Rama had to kill him, and he was creating that scene so Rama can come and kill him. Here, let's talk about something long back what happened. Vishnu, the god who protects us, had two gatekeepers to his palace. Their names were Jaya and Vijaya. Jaya, Vijaya. Two people. They were the gatekeepers or security guards. One day, very powerful saints called Sanakasa Nanda, they came to see Vishnu. These guys were with the Jaya and Vijaya were with Vishnu for so long. They should have got that good nature. They should have they should know how to treat the guests. But they had that ego saying that, oh, we are taking care of Vishnu's palace. We are powerful. We can decide who can meet Vishnu. So when Sanakasanandanas they came to see Vishnu, these guys said, Vishnu is very busy, get out. We cannot allow you to get in. Then they told, Sanakasanandanas told these two, Jaya Vijaya, that just go and tell Vishnu. If Vishnu says he cannot see us, we are okay, we'll go. In my home, if I am in my bedroom and my sons have observed someone coming home and they wanted to meet me, if they insult that person, it is like I am insulting them. That means the head of the family is insulting. Always, whatever the family does, it goes on to the head of the family. That's why when Jaya Vijaya were doing that, Sanakasanandanas got such they were very angry, and they thought we have to teach these guys a lesson. Again, punishment, as we talked about, should bring change in the people. So immediately they cursed them, saying that you will be away from this Vishnu Loka. You will be taking birth in earth, on earth, and you will be living there. You will be away from Vishnu. All this ego for you is because you are near to Vishnu. So we will make sure that you are not near Vishnu anymore. Get out. That's how they cursed. That's when Jaya Vijaya got to know how powerful these saints were and how their ego spoiled them. At that point, as head of the family, Vishnu came down to the front door. Is it not what I am supposed to do? If my kids or anyone in my family are trying to insult a person who is at the door, it becomes my responsibility to come down and correct the situation. It is the same with management also. If two employees are fighting, a manager is supposed to come and take care of that situation and then avoid any awkward situation. Of course, if you have to punish, you have to punish someone. So Vishnu came and he said, okay, I know what happened. And he apologized to Sanakasanandanas. And then Jaya Vijaya fell on his feet, on Vishnu's feet, and said, Swami, please help us. We cannot live without you. We cannot live far from you. Please help us to stay back with you. Then Vishnu said, you had ego and they punished you, and I cannot take it back. Only they can take it back. Pray them. In management also, if two employees are fighting and you know one employee is right, the other employee is wrong, and that other employee is also saying, yes, I am wrong, but as manager, you help me out. Manager is not supposed to step in there. Manager has to say, okay, you know your mistake, you offended that person, go and work with that person, apologize to that person, plead him or her to help you out. Even though I am more powerful than anyone else in this universe, I will not go by that. If that is the case, there is no point. No one will be having the power. Sanakasanandanas will say, man, don't touch Vishnu's people, because anyway, whatever we do, Vishnu will protect them. Vishnu is partial to his own employees. So Vishnu said, I cannot intervene in this. You go ahead and ask Sanakasanandanas. That's how he kept their ego also up. Then Sanakasanandanas said, we are sorry, Vishnu, for losing our temper, and we also acted with ego, but we will let you decide what punishment they can have. Then Vishnu told them, you have to honor the curse, but I will give you two options. Do you want to be away from me for 7 incarnations as friend? You will be my friends, but you will have to be away from me for 7 incarnations. Did I tell all this story?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't recall.
Then the other option is you can be my enemy and stay away for 3 incarnations. What should they be taking? If you know there is some powerful person, you would like to be friend with that person. But here they chose that we will be enemies to you for 3 incarnations, because 3 incarnations is less than 50% of 7 incarnations. We cannot be away, we cannot afford to be away from you for 7 incarnations. So, to reach back to you, we are okay with 3 incarnations as enemies with you. If I give any punishment to my son saying that I will love you back the way originally if if you don't talk to me for 3 days, or if you're not before my eyes at all for 3 days, or for 7 days I will not talk to you. You may be around me, but I will not talk to you. If he truly loves me, he would say, Dad, okay, for 3 days I will not be, you will not see me, but I want to be back with you within 3 days. I can't spend 7 days without talking to you. That's what happened there. Jaya Vijaya also chose to be 3 incarnations away as enemies. Now, why would he say that? 3 incarnations as enemies. Generally, you have to favor your friends. You should say 3 incarnations as friends or 7 incarnations as my enemy. It was reverse. Is it that? Do you think that Vishnu was foolish? No. Look at your own, analyze your own thinking process. If 10 people said you are very good and one person criticizes you that you are fit for nothing, who are you thinking about the most? You will be thinking about the person who criticized you or whoever has cursed you. Your thought process goes all along. You will be thinking about that person only. Similarly, here also, if they became enemies of Vishnu, they will be thinking more about Vishnu. That's another kind of prayer. If you are taking God's name every time and just reciting it, Krishna, 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 you are self hypnotizing yourself to be like Krishna. That's how you will be getting those characteristics. You will be behaving in the normal way. But if you are a friend of mine, I don't know how frequent I talk to you because you are anyway my friend. But if it is enemy, I think more about you. The learnings that we have to know is we have to make sure that we do not have enemies. Even if someone has someone has harmed you and you treat that person as an enemy, what happens after that? We are thinking about that person only. Why should we think about the person who is harming us? That's why if you want to go against your mind, you should say, oh, he was my friend. And because of him, I have some unknown energy in me was kicked off. I'll give my personal experience. I never wanted to leave India. I was comfortable in my organization. I was a manager there, and I was enjoying everything. Then I wrote a software program which which the company was not able to, the IT department was not able to right, because they did not have the field experience. You need to have the domain experience. So I had domain experience and programming experience. So I wrote that program. But the computer division did not like it. They took an oath saying that we will make sure that Murthy will not touch computer in this organization anymore. He is manager of that department. Let him be manager there. He is nothing to do with the computers. Then I decided, fine, if that is the case, why should I be in this organization? And I started looking out. And truly, I moved towards the software development and project management and all of that. And definitely, I went up very much in my career. If I start thinking about the person who was challenging me and who was saying that I would not allow this guy touch the computer as my enemy, I will be thinking about him always and my mood will not be good. Instead, the way I started thinking is just because of him, that unknown energy in me provoked and it made me reach heights. So, the moment I took it and I gave the entire credit of my career development to him, I stopped thinking about him because my brain says, oh, he's your friend. Let's not talk about him. That's what happened here. They choose to be enemies of Vishnu so that they will always be thinking about him. That's how their first incarnation was Hiranyakasipa and Hiranyaksha, that is beyond this entire story. The second incarnation was Ravana and his brother, younger brother, uh, come on, Kumbhakarna. So, Ravana and Kumbhakarna, that's the second incarnation of Jaya and Vijaya. That's why they took animosity with Vishnu's incarnation Rama, and because they started that animosity, they were always thinking about Rama only. They were thinking uh, how to be away from him, how to safeguard themselves. Like that, they started thinking about Rama always, and maybe that is the reason Ravana also, again, he might be knowing that he had to get back to Vishnu Loka, Vishnu's home, after three incarnations, and he wants to get away from those incarnations as soon as possible. And he had to be killed by Vishnu only. And he knows Rama is Vishnu. So he left Jatayu alive. And he was going further. Look at the intricacies in this story. It's not their mistake. It's not Ravana's mistake leaving Jatayu alive. It is not that he could not kill Jatayu. He wanted to leave an evidence for Rama to come after him. From there, they started flying further. And Sita was still shouting, and look at her thinking. She started taking her valuable things that she was wearing, she started dropping them on the earth.
Think Hansel and Gretel.
Hmm?
Hansel and Gretel. It's a Western story
Ah,
where basically it's a bunch of children that were left in the forest by their parents, but as they went along, they dropped crumbs of bread so that they could follow their way back home.
okay. But here it was to say that Rama can see those ornaments and then follow the path. That means that he had to go towards south. And at one point, she takes some, she cuts her sari, ties them, and she drops them because she saw someone standing on the earth. She wanted to drop that there so that if Rama was coming that side, this person meets Rama and shows that, oh, we know someone dropped these, and Rama can identify her ornaments. That's how Rama will be treasure hunting Sita, if I may call. Right? She was leaving clues so that Rama can come. that side. Ravana also left clues. Sita was also leaving clues. Jatayu was waiting. Now, let's go back to what was happening on the other side. Lakshmana went to Rama. He found Rama because Rama was coming back. Rama knew that this was demon and that guy called Lakshmana and Sita's name. He wanted to come back as soon as possible so that nothing happens. But when he saw Lakshmana, he was very surprised. He said, Lakshmana, what happened? I told you to stay with Sita. Why are you here? You did not have confidence in me? Then Lakshmana said, no, 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 that was not the case. Sita said like this. Sita forced me to go away from her. So I walked. Immediately Rama could suspect that something bad has happened. They both came to the house and they found the evidence of the struggle that Sita had put, and they could see the marks of his aeroplane. It's not that, even though Ravana was so powerful, it's not that Sita just went with him easily. She struggled. She made a lot of. I mean, she must have thrown things. She must have destroyed some things. Just like if anyone was trying to pull you from your home, you would be holding on to whatever you have, so that would fall down. So they could see that, and they knew right away that someone abducted. And they know it is some demon because that forest was full of demons. As a human being, he had to pretend, he had to act as a human being. So Rama was very, very sad. And he started blaming Lakshmana for not listening him, not taking his orders to his heart, and leaving Sita alone. This is again what we do. When we are in trouble, we start blaming others. Just he wanted to prove that. But again, when you are saddened, you do not know, you do not have any control on your sayings. Then they started searching everywhere. They started going towards the south because they could see when the aeroplane is going from, it just lifts up and goes. You would be seeing some trees falling down because of that air pressure, right? So there was no aerodrome or anything. There was no airport at that place. So that aeroplane had to make the place for itself to come down and then go up. So with that evidence, they started walking towards south. That's when they met Jatayu. Jatayu tells them the relationship he had with Dasaratha, how close friends they were, and how he tried to save Sita, and he gave them that Ravana took Sita away. That was confirmed. Ravana took her. Then Jatayu died. Jatayu said, this is end of it. This is the reason why I was still alive, so that I could help you, and gave the address of Sita. Now my time is over. And he died. Then Rama performed his final rites too. Look at this. Jatayu said he was his father's friend. So Rama treated him like his father. As any son does the final rites, he did the final rites for Jatayu also. Which means if we know that a person is our dad's friend, we have to treat that person as our father would have treated him in his presence. That's how you respect your dad or your parents, whether parents are there or not. Whoever is closer to them, whoever are friends to them, you have to treat them as if your parents were alive or your parents were there. That's what Rama proved by performing final rites of Jatayu. Okay, here I would say we'll stop. Are there any questions?
I take a quick second for them to ask anything, but just give them some 5 minutes. Otherwise, yeah, feel free to ask any questions or any clarifications that you need while we're on stream. If not, you can always send them to me post stream, and then I'll ask them during our next sessions. But as of right now, it doesn't seem that way. But
Okay, if that is the case, thank you so much for your time, and for thank you for joining us, me and KP. As always, if whatever way you can support Prakash, I mean KP, go ahead, because we want to continue this streaming and we want to share our experiences, our knowledge, so that even if we can make one life happy, or even if we can give solution to one person in their life, that would be our achievement. May God bless you with everything that you need to be happy.
thanks, everyone.
Thank you.